the backyard gardening hack that's replacing fertilizer forever, and why big agriculture hates it. Hey, welcome back, Soil and Crops Central family. So, a while ago I shared a video called Korean Natural Fertilizer Hack, and wow, it really exploded in popularity. Since then I've been totally flooded with comments, questions, DMs, you name it. Today we're gonna dive deep to answer your most pressing questions, clear up any confusion, and, offer real solutions you can actually use in your backyard. Oh, and if you missed the original video, just head over to the popular tab. It's the very first one listed. Alright, now let's cut to the chase. Some folks said I talked too much and didn't say enough. Fair enough. So let me fix that. Starting right now. Let's talk about what Korean natural farming actually involves. Korean natural farming, or KNF, is a closed-loop gardening method that eliminates the need for store-bought fertilizers by building up your soil's microbial life. It's not a product you buy, it's a process you practice. And honestly, at the core of that process are two simple but powerful creations: Indigenous Microorganisms, or IMO, and Fermented Plant Juice, or FPJ. Together, these two inputs work with your soil's biology to create a growing environment that's fertile, resilient, and self-sustaining. Let's break each one down and see exactly what the method involves, step by step. Collecting and cultivating indigenous microorganisms, IMO, is really the foundation of Korean natural farming. You're not adding foreign bacteria or ordering special inoculants online. Instead, you're gathering the beneficial microbes that are already thriving in your natural environment and multiplying them to re-inoculate your garden or farm. So here's how the process works. You start with just a handful of cooked, plain white rice. Not flavored, not seasoned, just clean rice. You place this rice in a small, breathable container, traditionally wood because it allows air to flow, and cover it with a breathable lid like a paper towel or mesh. Then you set it outside in a shaded area where leaf litter and organic material are naturally decomposing, like under a tree or near the edge of a forest. That's where the good microbes live. After 3 to 5 days, you return to find a fuzzy white mold colonizing the rice. That mold is actually a thriving population of fungi, bacteria, protozoa, and actinomycetes, all native to your soil and climate. You've just created what's known as IMO1. To preserve and amplify those microbes, you mix the colonized rice with an equal weight of brown sugar and store it in a loosely covered jar. This is IMO2, a shelf-stable microbial concentrate that can last for months in a cool space. When you're ready to use it, you dilute a small amount, just a tablespoon or two, in water and apply it directly to the soil or compost pile. The result? A massive boost to the microbial life in your soil. Making fermented plant juice, or FPJ, is a really neat process. If IMO is your microbial inoculant, then FPJ is your homemade plant-based nutrient spray, rich in enzymes, growth hormones, and vitamins pulled straight from wild plants. Here's how to make it. Walk through your local area and collect the tips of fast-growing wild plants. We're talking about weeds that grow without help. These plants are survivors. They're packed with nutrients and natural growth energy. Some gardeners like to use things like mugwort, sweet potato tips, seaweed, or even dandelion leaves. Once you've gathered your material, chop it up finely and weigh it. Then, mix it with an equal weight of brown sugar. The sugar draws out the plant juices and, kickstarts fermentation. You don't add any water, the moisture in the plants is enough. Pack the mixture into a wide-mouthed jar and cover it loosely to allow gas to escape. Let it ferment in a cool, dark place for about 5 to 7 days. During that time, a golden liquid will start to pool at the bottom of the jar. That's your FPJ. After fermentation, you strain out the solids and store the liquid in a dark glass bottle. To apply it, you dilute 1 teaspoon per gallon of water and spray it onto your plants in the early morning or late afternoon. You can also drench the soil with it to feed microbes directly. What makes KNF so different? KNF isn't about feeding plants in the traditional sense, it's about feeding the soil so that the soil can feed the plant. Most modern fertilizers are high in nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, great for fast growth, but terrible for long-term soil health. They often kill off beneficial microbes, dry out the soil, and lead to more pest and disease issues over time. KNF flips the script. By using FPJ and IMO, you're creating a living soil ecosystem that regulates itself. Microbes break down organic matter. Fungi form symbiotic relationships with plant roots. Nutrients become more bioavailable. Plants grow stronger and yields go up, without any chemical inputs. And the best part? The longer you practice KNF, the better your soil gets. You're not just feeding this season's crop, you're building fertility for the future. Other preparations in KNF. Once you've got FPJ and IMO down, there are other simple, powerful concoctions you can explore. Fish amino acid, made from fish waste and sugar, gives plants a nitrogen boost during leafy growth stages. Water-soluble calcium, made from eggshells and vinegar, helps during flowering and fruiting, strengthening cell walls and preventing calcium deficiencies. Calcium phosphate, which is made from animal bones and vinegar, supports root development and helps balance phosphorus in the soil. All of these inputs are created from basic kitchen and garden waste, and they're designed to support specific phases of plant growth, all without polluting your soil or water. But, don't rush into things. Start with IMO and FPJ. If you master those, you're already miles ahead of most conventional gardeners out there. Can you use other sugars instead of brown sugar in FPJ and IMO? Well, the short answer is yes, but you should proceed with some caution. Brown sugar really works best because it contains molasses, which helps stabilize fermentation and feeds the right microbes. If you can't get brown sugar, raw cane sugar or molasses can be a decent substitute. Just avoid using refined white sugar. It doesn't have the minerals needed for a healthy ferment. Now, what about dried fruits like dates or raisins? Technically, they do contain natural sugars, but they also have unpredictable water and yeast levels, which can throw off the balance. They might work, but honestly, you're kind of rolling the dice. If you want consistent results, stick with brown sugar whenever possible. Will this work in humid, fungus-rich areas like Florida? This is a question I hear a lot, and yes, it absolutely works. KNF is really all about using what's native to your environment. The microorganisms you collect from your land are already adapted to your weather, your soil, and, yes, even your humidity. Florida, with all its wild microbial life, is actually a great place to practice this method. The key is to collect your microbes from healthy, undisturbed areas, like near trees or in leaf litter, and then let them ferment with the right balance of sugar and airflow. That's how you get a stable and powerful IMO culture. Can I use a cardboard or plastic container to make IMO? Well, wooden boxes are ideal because they breathe. They allow oxygen in while keeping pests out, but if you're just starting and don't have wood available, a firm, untreated cardboard box can work temporarily. Now, plastic? That's trickier. It tends to trap moisture and heat, which can encourage the wrong kinds of bacteria or mold. If you must use plastic, be sure it has excellent ventilation. Poke holes or leave the lid partially off to keep air moving. But truthfully, if you can get your hands on a wood box, you'll thank yourself later. Do I really need rice and sugar? Aren't there other natural alternatives? This one's fair. Some gardeners are put off by the idea of buying ingredients, even natural ones. But here's the thing. You're not feeding your plants rice and sugar. You're feeding your microbes. The cooked rice acts like a sponge, collecting wild microbes from your soil. The sugar then preserves and ferments them safely. These aren't expensive ingredients, and they last a long time when used properly. Sure, you could experiment with local methods, and I encourage creativity, but rice and sugar remain reliable, low cost, and effective. How often should I use FPJ in the garden? Start slow. Apply FPJ once per week and observe. Your plants will tell you what they need. In most cases, weekly application is enough to keep the soil alive and plants thriving. During intense growth periods like early vegetative stages, you might apply it twice a week, but more isn't always better. Over-applying can upset the balance. Is it safe to use FPJ when plants are fruiting or ready to eat? Absolutely. Unlike synthetic fertilizers, FPJ is made entirely from plants and sugars. It's biologically safe and honestly, there's no need to wait before harvesting. That said, always rinse your vegetables before eating, just like you normally would. And if you're applying it as a foliar spray, aim for early mornings or evenings to avoid leaf burn under strong sun. How should IMO2 be stored? Is the jar sealed or left loose? Great question, and, it's a common point of confusion. Once you've collected your IMO and mixed it with brown sugar in equal weight, you don't seal it tightly. Store it loosely covered. You want to keep bugs out but still let gases escape during fermentation. You do not add water. The moisture in the rice and the sugar is enough. Just stir occasionally if needed, and store it in a cool, shaded spot. It can last for months this way. Is compost tea enough, or should I switch to KNF? You don't have to pick sides. Compost tea and KNF can actually complement each other beautifully. Compost tea is a great way to extract nutrients from mature compost. KNF inputs like FPJ and IMO offer a more targeted, localized approach by leveraging what's already growing and thriving in your area. If you're already using compost tea, consider adding FPJ or IMO to your routine. You'll likely notice improved soil structure, faster decomposition, and stronger plant growth. I tried using rice water, but nothing happened. This one's a classic mistake, and I get why it's confusing. When we talk about collecting microbes, we mean using cooked, plain white rice, not just rice water. The rice provides a stable surface for microbes to colonize. Place it in a ventilated wooden box in a shaded, undisturbed outdoor area, and wait 3 to 5 days. You should see a fluffy white mold develop. That's your IMO one. Rice water alone doesn't offer enough structure for that process. If you tried it and got nothing, it wasn't your fault, it just wasn't the right method.